Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos. Big breaking news regarding Bruno Fernandes. According to Fabrizio Romano, who's an Italian journalist, he's confirmed recently that Manchester United have sent a bid to Bruno Fernandes for Sporting Lisbon, and he's also said that the clubs do remain in negotiations still. We've been in negotiations for quite some time, and he's also said that the agent of Bruno Fernandes has confirmed this. So it is looking likely now that Manchester United are going to sign Bruno Fernandes. It's stemming from the BBC and Sky Sports, which are two reliable sources, and they are saying that Manchester United are close to signing Bruno Fernandes. Sky Sports recently confirmed that in the past 24 hours, Manchester United have made two offers to Sporting Lisbon for Bruno Fernandes, because not too long ago we did have a bid turned down for him, because Sporting Lisbon have remained ruthless over their valuation. They basically said they wanted around £68 million, and at the first Manchester United were not determined to meet that, but we've had breakthrough in negotiations earlier on today, so it's looking likely we are now going to get him on the board. And don't forget, the transfer window does shut on Friday, so he will be an officially Manchester United player before Friday, I should presume. Ed Woodward has agreed a deal with the Sporting Lisbon president, basically. So the initial fee is around €55 million. I think there's also add-ons included in the deal, so I think in total, with the add-ons included, it is around €80 million. And I think actually, €80 million equates to around just over 67 million in pounds sterling. So the deal's going to be worth around 67 million pounds. But I am actually very delighted about this. Like I mentioned on my recent video, it looked dead in the water not too long ago, because it actually said that Barcelona had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. It has confirmed that Barcelona have been in talks with Sporting Lisbon. Barcelona proposed to sign Bruno Fernandes in the summer and offer him a contract until 2025, but they would loan him out to Valencia at the end of the 2020-21 until the end of the 2021 season, I think. So obviously, they can get a deal over the line for Rodrigo, because Barcelona obviously, want to get Rodrigo in. So, because obviously, Barcelona are looking for a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez, and I think Luis Suarez is around 32 years of age. So I think Barcelona have offered a bit more of a bigger. I think Barcelona's offer slightly bigger than ours, but I think now it's down to Bruno Fernandes' decision, and I think Bruno Fernandes' preference is a move to Manchester United. But he's made this clear for quite some time now. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes did play in Sporting Lisbon's games against Martimo. Bruno Fernandes, of course, captained that current game. Sporting Lisbon did win the game by 1-0. So I do presume now anyway that's his farewell appearance. But before these reports came out, it was this morning, I think, like I updated you, the Sporting Lisbon boss did say he doesn't know if that was Bruno Fernandes' last game as a Sporting Lisbon player. But at long last, we are going to get a deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes. I don't think the terms have yet been agreed. I think reports in the Portuguese press a couple of weeks ago said that actually Bruno Fernandes had agreed the personal terms with Man United, and he was set to earn around £120,000 a week. But at long last, we're going to get this deal over the line. But like I said, we should have done it ages ago, because at the first we should have met Sporting Lisbon's valuation. But he is a very good player, and he is dramatically going to improve Manchester United, and that he's going to dramatically improve as is Bruno Fernandes. And even though he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, Bruno Fernandes, I think he's got all the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League. So I think when he comes to Manchester United, he can replicate, what he's done in his couple of years with Sporting Lisbon. I think he also did quite well, when he was in Italy when he was younger, because when he was in Italy, he spent when he was younger, he spent the entirety of his career in Italy. But Bruno Fernandes in total at Sporting Lisbon has scored 64 goals in 137 appearances in all competitions. I think also did he win the Portuguese Cup with them last year, and I think his Is he played around 19 times or something like that, or scored 19 times, sorry, for Portugal, and he's only the age of 25. But, we should have got him at the beginning of the window. You could arguably say we should have got Bruno Fernandes last summer, because we was relentlessly, linked with Bruno Fernandes last summer. But the main explanation why we didn't get him last summer is because, we didn't actually put an official bid in. And plus, we wasn't willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Sporting Lisbon said, they wanted around £70 million. Man United weren't determined to meet that. We valued him at 50 million. Tottenham went in for him last summer. City also went in for him. City were close to closing in on a deal for him. Liverpool had inquired about his services and that. But he has revealed, Bruno Fernandes, that he does want to come to Manchester United and that. And he only extended his contract with Sporting Lisbon last year, did the current player. And don't forget, also George Mendes has been working on this deal, because he's obviously been in Manchester quite a few times and that. So yeah, it is going to definitely happen. So he's going to be our first signing of this year, and he's going to be our fourth signing overall under the Mulligan Solskjaer era. But Bruno Fernandes is a player that can provide goals, create chances. Very, very good. His composure is fantastic. His pass accuracy is very, very good. And he will dramatically improve Manchester United. And as you all know, Bruno Fernandes isn't enough. Obviously, more signings are desperately, needed at the football club. But I think Bruno Fernandes is only going to be the signing that we do make in this January transfer window. Of course, we'll be orchestrating on making more signings this summer. We'll also, of course, orchestrate on getting rid of more players in the summer. But Bruno Fernandes is a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba will go in the summer anyway. I think he'll definitely leave Man United. And even if he goes in the summer, Pogba, I think we can still generate a substantial amount for his departure. I still believe we can get maybe around 90 or 100 million pounds for him. But yeah, I'm glad we're going to get him on the board, Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he does wear the number 8 shirt for Sporting Lisbon. Whether he keeps that number 8 shirt at Man United or not, I do not know. We could even consider giving him the number 10 shirt, because he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. Bruno Fernandes won't be making his debut against City. It's come too soon. Obviously, City is tomorrow night in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg at the Etihad. So he actually, should be making his debut against Wolves at the weekend. That's our next league game. And if he doesn't, then he should then be making his debut against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on the 17th of February in that. But, I'm very, very delighted about this news, because I thought it was dead in the water, definitely earlier on. I really thought it was dead in the water, earlier on. I really, really did in that. But, yeah, looking likely now, we are going to get Bruno Fernandes, and more things, we'll definitely update and that. So, credit, Solskjaer and that, for getting Bruno Fernandes in. Obviously, we did recommend 3 good players to the squad last summer. We obviously, got Daniel James in for £15 million. I think he's enjoyed a good season with Man United prior to the last month or so. I don't think he's been at it in the last month or so. Bissaka's been a very, very good right back for us so far. I think he can be our right back for the next decade, can Wan-Bissaka. And I think Harry Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies. He's done really, really well. Obviously now he's permanent Manchester United captain, reflecting on the departure, to Ashley Young. But yeah, Harry Maguire's our permanent captain. We did overpay for Maguire, £80 million, but he's the most expensive defender in the world in that. But I still think he has addressed our defensive deficiencies. Okay, he's had some bad games here and there for Man United, but I think in the vast majority of his games, he's done well, and he does show great leadership. So last summer we spent nearly £150 million. This is going to cost us in total of nearly £70 million for Bruno Fernandes. So it's around, it's over £200 million now we've spent under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, when Bruno Fernandes is officially confirmed and that. But I did say, despite the fact that we've been inconsistent in the last 6 or 7 years, I'm still convinced that Manchester United can attract players to the elite level. Because like I mentioned, we are one of the richest clubs in the world. We have, got the highest wage bill in the Premier League, don't forget. And reflect on that, we should be, performing much better. But, we can afford to overpay for players, and we're known for overpaying for players anywhere in recent years. But I think, Bruno Fernandes is worth, what Sporting Lisbon want for him, basically. I know Sporting Lisbon got him from next to nothing from Sampdoria. They only paid just over £7 million for him from Sampdoria. So from Sporting Lisbon perspective, they're going to make a huge profit on the player. Then probably Sporting Lisbon will be hopeful that they can find a replacement for Bruno Fernandez and that. But he isn't enough. We need another midfielder now. And we'll probably look to get another midfielder in the summer, because we do look very exposed now in that midfield anyway, following the injuries to Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay, where we also need a holding midfielder, because like I said, the likes of Matic is too much of a liability, he's too slow. I've got elements of concerns about Pereira. I think Fred, I'd be determined to keep Fred because I would give him more time at the club. He's not yet emulated to that level. But, we need to be patient with Fred, because recently he's put a good string of performances out as Fred. Definitely in that. Put a lot of some decent performances in. And I'd be determined to keep McTominay, because I thought before McTominay damaged the ligaments in his knee, he was a revelation for Manchester United. But McTominay sustained a few injuries this season. But imagine when Paul Pogba and McTominay get fit, that'll be very, very good, because Bruno Fernandez, will blend in very, very well alongside the likes of Pogba and McTominay in our midfield. So I am excited about the prospect of that, basically. And it's not only the midfield, I think there's possibly other areas in the squad as well where Manchester United need to strengthen up. I think we also need a striker now. Reflecting on the injury to Marcus Rashford, we need a striker at Manchester United, because Rashford's injury is very severe. He's obviously, sustained a double fracture in his back, and I think he's going to be out until late March, or is it early April. Probably could be out for the remainder of the season. But when his injury actually occurred, it did say Rashford could be out for at least 6 weeks. But maybe Solskjaer is accountable for some of that. Maybe he shouldn't have brought him on against Wolves. Then probably his injury, wouldn't have materialised. But, like I said, we've got to get a striker in, someone on loan until the end of the season, someone who can, get us goals in that attacking line. Because Rashford's been one of our best players this season, another player I'd be determined to keep. Rashford's been in scintillating form this season. He's obviously, scored 19 goals in all competitions. Since Rashford broke into the senior squad, he has scored 63 senior goals for the football club in all competitions as Marcus Rashford. So, yeah, definitely the long-term solution for Man United. And I know we've got the likes of Martial, and, he does help the likes of James and Rashford in that attacking line. I think Martial's totally comparison to Rashford, though. He sustained a few injuries this season. So we need to get someone in on loan. And, there's a possibility chance, I think Bruno Fernandes is the only permanent deal we're going to get in this January transfer window, but could we possibly get someone in on loan before the window shuts? Now, there's been a lot of speculation going on regarding Islam Slimani, like I've been updating you on a regular basis today. Man United and Tottenham, of course, are both in negotiations for Islam Slimani. Now, obviously, like I said, we want him because of the injury to Rashford. Tottenham want him because of the injury to Harry Kane. Also, it's been confirmed today that Eriksen has officially joined Inter Milan. So maybe Tottenham will want a replacement for him. I don't really know much about this Islam Slimani. I know he wants to leave because he's notified Monaco to end his loan spell with them. Obviously, before he was at Monaco, he had a few loan spells. I think they were unsuccessful loan spells. He wasn't so good at Newcastle, wasn't so good at Fenerbahce. But Leicester have confirmed, they've given their overarching view on it. And Leicester have basically said they want £4 million, a £4 million loan fee from either Manchester United or Tottenham, basically. Leicester did purchase him for £29 million from Sporting Lisbon back in 2016, and he is only at the age of 31, but don't really know much about the player, so there's a possibility chance we could get him on loan. Obviously, Edison Cavani, we're not going to get him now because he's closing in on a move to Atletico Madrid. Obviously, I'll give you the news regarding what's his name again? Idoin Igalo, however you pronounce his name. He's currently playing in China at the moment. I think he served a couple of years in China. He's 30 years of age, also had a spell with Watford, so we also inquired about getting him on loan and that. So I think Man United do need to get a striker in. I think maybe Solskjaer has got some element of concerns about that full-back position, probably reflecting on the departure of Young. Obviously, Luke Shaw's, struggling to find consistency. And obviously, since his arrival at Manchester United, he has sustained quite a lot of injuries. He's just recently come back from injuries, Luke Shaw. But, he also sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Southampton player, did Luke Shaw, and that. Obviously, Brandon Williams is our preference over Luke Shaw. I think he's a better solution than Luke Shaw. Since he broke into the senior squad, don't forget, he has been a revelation for Man United, but he's still inexperienced, so maybe Solskjaer in the summer will be looking to get an experienced fullback in. Obviously, we've got a variety of fullbacks, the lots there as well. He's one of the backup options, behind Wan-Bissaka. You've got Fosu Mensah that can also operate as a right back. He's just come back from injury. So take that into account and that. So yeah, we've been linked with a host of players. But I said, didn't I? I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are, to be up there challenging for major honours. And if we are to be, future title contenders, because I don't think we're going to win the league for several years. We haven't won the league since 2013, which is around 7 years ago now. We haven't won the league. So I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations will be that top 4, definitely in that. But there again, there's still a chance we can get the top 4 this season. And that top 4 is one of our ambitions this season. We're only 6 points behind Chelsea. We could get that top 4 this season. The main explanation why Man United are in that top 4 is because Chelsea have been so inconsistent this season. Obviously, the FA Cup's now a priority for us because we are now into the 5th round of the competition, and that's a chance of getting some silverware on the board. Also, the Europa League is a priority for us. So Solskjaer has spoken about the importance of us anywhere getting silverware on the board, because we have lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. So that's very, very imperative indeed. But we can still get the top 4 this season. If we can do that, then it can create a platform, give us something to build on, then hope for better going on into next season. Because I did say at the start of this season that I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because last season was disappointing. We finished 6th. Obviously, we didn't win any silverware. The lowest we've ever finished in the Premier League era was 7th, back under the David Moyes era and that. And we know that Solskjaer's been under intense pressure for the vast majority of this season due to our inconsistency in that. Because obviously it's been revealed that Solskjaer is our worst manager, of what I know anywhere, because it's been confirmed now that he's actually lost more games in the league than he's actually won. But we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. So what it means in that aspect is, we've never been as bad up until this point in the Premier League era, but there's still time for things to be turned around. So Man United have got big games coming up, City tomorrow, like I mentioned, at the Etihad, Wolves at the weekend, so they are 2 big games. You saw my preview for the Man City Man United game yesterday, and that, you saw my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference earlier on today. And and don't fully disregard it, because like I said, we've done really, really well against elite opposition this season. We haven't really replicated that against lower opposition, but I think we've done well against elite opposition. I know we're 3-1 down from the first leg against City. We've obviously got to go to the Etihad to overcome a 2-goal deficit, but anything is possible in that. Anything is possible, definitely. And hopefully, against City tomorrow, we can replicate a performance what we showed against Tranmere in the FA Cup. Obviously, City's a different kettle of fish, obviously, but I expect us to beat Tranmere, obviously. I expect us to win, but I didn't expect us to win 6-0. But I expect us to win. That 6-0 win against Tranmere was our biggest away win since 1999 when we beat Nottingham Forest 8-1. The first time we'd scored 6 goals since the Alex Ferguson era. And it was a very, very good team performance by Man United. Obviously, Solskjaer rested a couple of key players in the game against Tranmere, but he played quite a lot of first-team players because he didn't really want to take any risks, let's be honest. Because obviously, if we'd not progressed past Tranmere, then there may have been a possibility chance that Solskjaer would have been sacked from the club. Definitely. It doesn't mean it'd have happened, but a lot of United fans, of course, would have been, saying get rid of him now, basically. But he didn't take any risk against Tranmere and that. And, it was a good reaction from the players against Tranmere because, last week we'd enjoyed a difficult week, losing to Liverpool, losing at home to Burnley for the first time in 62 years, was it? So we have lost our last two Premier League games and that. So we've got to get back to winning ways now in the Premier League. And, I think there's around 2/3 of Manchester United fans now that are saying we should persist with the back three, or we should at least go with the back three against Manchester City. Because that back three really worked against Tranmere, because against Tranmere we went with a 3-4-1-2 and it seemed to suit our standards. Don't forget we went with three early on this season, three at the back early on this season against Liverpool when we drew 1-1. And I think, was it in the game against Partizan Belgrade? In one of the games against Partizan Belgrade, we went with three at the back and that. So Solskjaer needs to start going with that, going with a 3-4-1-2 or maybe perhaps the 3-5-2. Because on a regular basis this season, Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, but we do know, obviously, it hasn't really suited our standards in the vast majority of our games. So we should try the three at the back against City. When Hargreaves came out and he actually said that we should persist with a back three, but that's from his own perception. And he also said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need instructing, to get Manchester United forward and that. That's from Owen Hargreaves' perception. But Solskjaer recently came out and says he promises to bring the good times back to Manchester United. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had said. So we should try three at the back against City. I think the squad that's travelled to the Etihad, or is preparing to travel to the Etihad, is more or less the same squad that went to Tranmere. So obviously I think Wan-Bissaka will be playing in this game. Williams will start. Perhaps maybe Daniel James will start, or perhaps could be involved, or he may be dropped completely. But he will make some changes in the game against City and that. But like I said, City have not been as good as he expected them to be this season. They haven't been as good, Manchester City. The totally comparison to what there was last season and the season before, of course, that time when they registered 100 points. But, I think they've done well recently of Man City, I think since they lost to us in the league, they have seemed to have rejuvenated themselves. Of course, obviously, Man City are not going to win the title. Obviously, Guardiola's given up on the title. City's are now fighting runners-up. It's between them and Leicester for runners-up. The Carabao Cup's a priority for Pep Guardiola because, City are looking to win their third Carabao Cup on the trot. They've won it in the last two seasons of Manchester City. They beat Chelsea in the final last season, Arsenal the season before. But they tend to do really well in the Carabao Cup, the City. Also, I don't think they win the Champions League because there's no pedigree in the Champions League. And I also think that they could possibly win the FA Cup, Man City, because they did beat Fulham by 4-1 in the fourth round. So City will be favourites going on into tomorrow. City themselves, of course, have got injuries I want to update you on. They've had Leroy Sané out. I think Laporte's been out for quite some time. Whether he's back now or not, I can't remember. I don't know, but I know he's been injured. Obviously, Benjamin Mendy's sustained a few injuries as a Man City player. John Stones has been injured as well, don't forget. John Stones, I think he's one of the players City will consider getting rid of because he doesn't really get them chances. And obviously, when Laporte's back in the team fully, he's going to find it difficult because even Otamendi and Fernandinho are Pep Guardiola's preference over John Stones, and they're not even predominantly centre-halves, like I've said on numerous occasions and that. But this is the third Manchester derby of the season between City and United. And of course, you saw my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, building up to the game against Man City. And he was even saying, regarding Bruno Fernandez, he said the deal was off the table for Bruno Fernandez because he didn't give us any news on the transfers whatsoever during that press conference earlier on. Well, it was this morning he did that press conference. Obviously, he's confirmed that Alexis Sanchez will be at Manchester United next season. So Sanchez is going to be joining us in the summer with the rest of the squad for pre-season tour and that. I think this is a bad decision by Manchester United, recommending Sanchez back in after his loan spell with Inter Milan. Obviously, Solskjaer believes that, Sanchez will prove everyone wrong. Sanchez hasn't really played a lot of games since he went on loan with Inter Milan. I think he's only made around 7 appearances for Inter Milan as Alexis Sanchez. I think he's only played around 214 minutes of football in Italy. I don't know why. Is it something to do with injuries and that? Because, when we had Sanchez in that 18-month period, he sustained a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player. Never really got the chances at Man United due to his injuries. But we got Sanchez in from Arsenal in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal and that. And obviously we thought he'd have exceeded expectations at Man United. We thought he'd have done well. We thought he'd have scored goals and that for us. And we thought he'd be able to replicate what he did in his 3.5 years, 4 years of Arsenal. Also, we thought, he'd have replicated what he did at Barcelona when he was younger, because when he was younger, he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, did Alexis Sanchez, don't forget. So, yeah, but he wasn't too good for Man United. And like I said, he had a bad effect on our wage structure with Sanchez being there, because he was our highest paid player on £400,000 a week, potentially rising up to £500,000 with the image rights and the bonuses, etc., etc. With him being on loan at Inter Milan, though, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying him around £300,000 a week. But yeah, it's been confirmed Sanchez is coming back to Manchester United and that. So that's been confirmed. Obviously, at the moment, he's reuniting with Lukaku. I think Lukaku's on fire at Inter Milan. Young's obviously now at Inter Milan. He's the first player to leave Man United this year. Obviously, Ashley Young needed to leave the football club anywhere and that. Also, like I said, during the press conference, Solskjaer got asked about, Jurgen Klopp saying that he's going to field his under-23s in Liverpool's replay with Shrewsbury. A lot of people think this is wrong, and Jurgen Klopp's getting a lot of criticism for this. I don't see him change his mind. He's going to play exactly the same team as what he played against Villa in the Carabao Cup, when Villa did win by 5-0. So he's going to be playing in the 23s. And Liverpool's ambition this season is obviously the league. They're going to win the league for the first time in 30 years. So they're going to end their 30-year drought. They're going to win the first ever Premier League, of course, and they're 19th all in all. So the league's a priority for Liverpool. The FA Cup's not a priority, but still, he still needs to take the FA Cup serious, because from a Shrewsbury perspective, they'll be delighted that they got Liverpool to replay in the first place, because they're going to generate money for that. But, Shrewsbury said they want to face Liverpool's first team. So why is, Jurgen Klopp, saying he's going to field all the under-23s? Solskjaer did actually, react and say he's warned Jurgen Klopp that we quitted the FA Cup 20 years ago, which was 2000. And still now, even though, despite the fact it's 20 years ago, Solskjaer is still regretting it, basically. So this is what he has said in that. But Solskjaer admitted at the beginning of the press conference, City were totally dominant in the first leg. In the Old Trafford game, they were totally dominant. They were 3-0 up, of course, at half-time. But City have got a lot of quality in their team. They've got the likes of Aguero, one of their best players, Bernardo Silva, David Silva. I think they've got a fantastic centre-half in Laporte. Gabriel Jesus, I'm a huge admirer of him. So there's quite a lot of players in City's team I would, be determined to keep. I'd be determined to, take at Manchester United. Sorry. So it's going to be a very, very big game and that. Like I said, we won't sack Solskjaer now. Like I said, the club are determined to give him time. We're determined to back him in this January transfer window, which we have done. Well, maybe we haven't backed him enough, because he hasn't, he said he wanted to make around 2 signings in this January transfer window, or 3 signings. But, we're also going to be determined to back him in the summer transfer window as well, don't forget. So we won't sack him. We won't sack him as yet. And it would probably be the right solution to sack him as yet. He's got 2.5 years left on his deal. I'm very sceptical that Solskjaer will see, the remainder of his 2.5 years at Manchester United. I can't see that happening unless something dramatically improves. And obviously, we'd have to pay around $5 million anywhere to get rid of Solskjaer. That's been confirmed. We'd have to pay around $5 million to get rid of him. Obviously, we'd have to pay $5 million, yeah. But, we won't get rid of Solskjaer. He has been here 13 months. He's been here at the club over a year now. He's been permanent boss for 10 months as Solskjaer. maybe we give him the job too soon. You know, maybe we should have waited a bit longer to decide whether he'd be the right candidate for the job or not. I do believe the club have put him in a very difficult position, but we have given him the job. But he did well when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period and that. So we're still in. This is a transition period, and Solskjaer said, you know, we're hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But like I said, the one thing that's got to improve at Man United is our recruitment, because it's been very poor for several years. And like I said, we need to get the board out, Ed Woodward and the Glazers, because a lot of United fans have been protesting Ed Woodward and the Glazers, so we need to get them out, basically. So anyway, reverting back to what I said about Bruno Fernandez, Man United are close to signing him. That's the breaking news about this video, and everything else to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.